What makes someone a creative, an artist? Is it a degree from a fancy school or years of practice on a particular skill or talent? Is it a title reserved for painters, writers, and legendary performers? Or can being an artist describe someone whose secret weapons are curiosity and audacity? The curiosity to ask questions and the audacity to listen and move accordingly. Would you believe me if I said you, me, and every human being on earth are indeed creatives? We are creatives because we are human. We are artists because we each carry an inherent creative spirit within us that longs to express in ways that is unique to our souls. For too long, I was afraid of claiming myself a creative or an artist. I can't hold a note for any amount of time or draw anything beyond some stick figures, but what I know for sure is I am a creative because I'm a creator. To create means to bring something into reality that wasn't there before, and I am the writer, musician, painter, sculptor, photographer of my reality. I have within me the power to create worlds and to turn my thoughts into things, for better or for worse. In Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way, she reminds us that creativity is our birthright, a connection to something greater than ourselves. It's not about the accolades or degrees. It's about embracing the journey of self-discovery and expression. The canvas becomes a mirror, the words become whispers of the soul, and the artistic process becomes a sacred dance.
Hey everyone, it's Renee. I'm back. So this week was week 2 of Awakening Truth. It went really well, and it was one of those weeks where you have things planned, and then of course there's all of these outside things that you just can't control that happen. So the first being my period came 4 days early. Yeah. And then thank you, marathon training. And then the neighbors decided to demolish their roof. And so it was so much construction, which there's so much construction going on this block. You'll probably hear some sort of banging or a jackhammer or something going off in one of these videos, I'm sure. So it's just been a lot of breathing, and yeah, I can only control what I can control. I can't control neighbors and their roofs and houses being built and demolished and fixed and things of this nature, and I can't control when my body's like it's time to rest. So I did what I needed to do, which was the only thing that I could do, which was roll with it. I really tapped into my rest and I took my time. I did a lot of reading. For the most part, I was just really intentional with how I spent my time. And then a win was, I can't remember if I was editing or doing something, and then in real time, like I could hear this I don't know, I need to name her. Like, she needs a name, because she's always like, we can't. And either way, I heard her so clearly, and it's not even like I was witnessing her. It was like, it wasn't even me. It was like I saw her, heard the voice. And she's like, you can't do that. We can't do that. And in real time, before I could even like think about the words that are coming out my mouth, before I could even think the words, actually, yes, I can, like, came out of my mouth, as if like, not even as if like I was talking to this witch, because she does too much. She always got something to say. So that was a win, and that was really cool, because it's like a journey to really become present with yourself and really just become the witness and the observer of your thoughts and the stories that they try to spin, and which ones you latch onto and which ones you decide to dance with. And I try to dance with none of them most of the time, because this week also I restarted The Artist's Way. So if you're not familiar with The Artist's Way is basically this 3-month journey to rediscovering your creativity, reigniting the artist within you. And so it's a book, basically. Well, you can actually I will maybe put a link in the description, so if anybody wants it. I printed it out. I got it in PDF form. So you can like print it out, or you can buy it, of course. The first time I did it was in 2021, and that was almost like when I started to write fiction again, not just not creative nonfiction and essays and things of this nature, is when I was like, okay, let me try to, not even let me try. It was more, I don't know, it just kind of happened where I just started writing stories again and thinking about stories and thinking about characters and thinking about worlds in this way, which I hadn't done since really I was a kid, because that was my thing. That's how I started writing, was I would have pages and pages of loose leaf paper, and I would just have my blue and black pens, and the stories, there's just like, I could just see my little self, like 7-8 years old. This is how I passed the time, was just writing 10-12 page stories based off, and they were mostly horror, which is interesting because I love me some Goosebumps. Shout out to R.L. Stine. You are the GOAT, my friend. It also feels like coming back to it now feels right on time, like timely in some ways, because Venus is retrograde, and it's retrograde in my 5th house, which is all about creativity and pleasure and artistry, because I'm at this this doorstep, this new book of my life where I don't know much of what's happening. I'm kind of just following what's coming to me. And creativity is one of those things, so it feels kind of timely to pick this book back up again and start this journey again. And so that is what I'm going to just share a little bit about today, is The Artist's Way, week 1, and a little bit about what I've noticed in terms of, I guess, observed, I'm witnessing, as when it comes to my creativity and being in relationship with this just new version, right? Because it's creativity. It's like, I feel like it's just like ever moving. I feel like I see it as like a river. I see it as water. It's just forever and ever and ever, like moving, flowing. It's in flow. It's never, it can be stagnant, but that's usually our own self-imposed something. There's some sort of a quote-unquote block that we've put in place. And so yeah, that's why I also really enjoy The Artist's Way, because if you are experiencing any kind of blocks, it really is like something that it really is a tool or resource that you can tap into and be with yourself, be honest, and it's asking you questions and making you think. And it's 12 weeks long, and over the course of 12 weeks, every week starts off with the word recovering. Week 1, which is the one I just finished, is recovering a sense of safety. Week 2 is recovering a sense of identity. Week 3 is recovering a sense of power, and so on and so on. You can't really lose your creativity. This is what I've learned in my own journey with creativity. Like I used to think I wasn't creative, which is hilarious because, like I mentioned before, I would write these stories on my own, just writing stories at 7 and 8 years old, just to do it for fun, to create worlds and to be with my imagination. When there is a block, when there is something that is in the way that's stopping this flow, it definitely does feel like a recovery mission. I just saw like divers going into the ocean to go get something. So it's almost like you have to go inside of yourself, go inside to go find this artist child within you and recover them, right? And let them know, and it's not even about letting them know it's safe. It's like you have to show them it's safe. And so part of showing them that it's safe is taking them on artist date. An artist date could literally be, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could be, but it could literally be like, go to the dollar store and get some markers and some stars and decorate your notebook. Morning pages are also part of The Artist's Way. Every day for, the 3 months, stream of consciousness. There's no filter, just go for it. And for me, the morning pages really just allow me to just rant and rage and not feel guilty about it, and not feel like, oh, I'm not being my enlightened self right now, or I'm not, thinking about my thoughts and right? Because, you're going to rant and you're going to rave and you're going to complain and you're going to do all the things in your morning pages. But from what I've learned, and even just from the first time and witnessing other people, is that you're complaining about the same things most of the time. And you can only do that for so long, right? Especially if you are really like committed to the journey and like in it, you're only going to complain about them for so long. The things that you're complaining about, the things you're ranting about, the things you're raving about, before you actually, do something about it. So this week was recovering a sense of safety. It's interesting to notice the things I'm gravitating towards again. Things from, it's not even it's like childhood, but it's a lot of teenage Renee things as well, which is really cool, because sometimes we think about like, you hear all these things about like your inner child and da da da, and it's like, yeah, you got a teenager too, and you got a 20-something-year-old too, right? And so you have to like be with all of them. Lip gloss has been coming back up for me. Like, I used to love lip gloss when I was a teenager. Love lip gloss. I'm watching things that I never watch. So like, I just, don't judge me. I just started watching The Wiz. and to be fair, I never watched The Wizard of Oz either, so I really can't be judged. I don't know, these things, it's just so funny why I never watched these things that were like staples. Like, and I feel like I found The Wiz and I started watching it because there have been so many different, I don't know, I feel like I've been like listening to podcasts and watching some listening to some interviews, and people have been mentioning The Wiz, and I'm like, okay, there must be something in there that is for me. So yeah, it's like little things like that. My main takeaway from the Artist Week this week, from the first chapter, she says judging your early artistic efforts is abuse. Starting this YouTube channel back in March that I did, right? And wanting it to look a particular way, or wanting it to be this, or wanting it to be that, and, oh, maybe it could be this, and maybe it could be that, and really just not wanting it to be bad, because if it's bad, then it's ugly and it has no value. We want, like, for me, I want things to be perfect, right? Perfectionism. I want things to look nice the first time I do them. I want to write the essay the first time. I want for me to know how to edit something. I've never edited a freaking video in my life, but for me to be able to just know it like that. And something that I got from journeying with the Artist Way the first time was being comfortable with doing something bad. Your life is not going to end. Your life is not going to end. Nothing bad is going to happen to you. Doing something bad means that you're trying. It means that you are in the arena of your life, right? People can judge you and be like, ew, why does this look like that? And why does it look like that? Or the sound is not this and da-da-da. But it's like, you set up your camera, you set up your phone, whatever it is, and you sat down and you spoke to a camera. You shared things, you shared yourself, you shared your being. And that has to mean more than editing. That has to mean more than these skills that you were going to learn over time. The more you do it, the more you're going to learn it. I remember from Beyonce Homecoming on Netflix, she said something when she just had the twins, and she said something like, nobody wants to be a student anymore, or something along this line. And I remember she said that, and I was like, don't come for me. Stop. But it's so true, because nobody wants to be a student. Everybody wants to be a teacher. And you gotta be a student. You gotta humble yourself in some ways and be a student. Be bad at the thing, right? Be willing to like learn the thing and let it be ugly, because it's not always gonna be ugly, because you're gonna be learning, you're gonna be practicing. I think that is what creativity is. It's like, it's just, again, it's ever flowing, it's forever moving, and you have to, and it's energy, right? It's energy. And so like, you have to allow it to flow. You have to allow it to go where it's gonna go, and not try to force it to be something that it is not. Just being in this new space now with this version of my creativity and being on camera, being okay with it to a degree. I am a writer. My writing, my words, I love words, I love writing, and in a lot of ways I feel like it was like my base point. It was like my starting point for getting back into my creativity, right? Because I started writing again in like, I don't know, when I started traveling. So like 2017, 2018. I feel that it was like my base point, right? And there's levels to this, right? There's levels to expression. I do think that for a while there, I like boxed again, because the stay in your own lane, I could see how that can be limiting. So I think because I kept myself, or I allowed myself to kind of like get wrapped up in that staying in your lane narrative that I was just so boxed in that I didn't allow myself, not even didn't allow myself, it was just such a deep fear, but I really wanted to, right? Like I really wanted to experiment with different forms of expression, right? Because I just want to express myself. I think now being on camera and using my voice, and I was thinking about it and I was like, I don't know, it just feels like people are watching me. Then I heard this other voice, which I think is like true self voice. And she's like, is it people watching you or is it you're being seen? I had to be like, girl, yeah. Yes. Being seen on camera is deeply vulnerable. It's like this different kind of intimacy. But it's also this really beautiful way of connecting with people, right? I feel like, yeah, you could hide. I feel like, yeah, you could mask some things. Yeah, for sure. But for me, it's like, I don't want to. I feel like I've gotten here at a time where I'm still scared of shit every single time that I hit publish or upload, regardless of what it is, YouTube, TikTok, whatever. It's like, if my face is there, like I'm mortified. But it's also like, I know I have to do it because future Renee will be really proud. Like this Renee right now, she's scared and she doesn't know why she's being led in this particular, like, why am I talking about myself? Like, in whatever person that was, like, I don't know why I'm being led to, share in this specific way, but I have to trust it. I'm learning to trust it. I want to trust it. Over the next 3 months with the Artist Way and just even with Awakening Truth, it's like, everything is about surrendering and trusting the process. And in trusting the process, there is letting go. So yeah, that is what I have to say today. That is trusting creativity. It was a good week, and yeah, let's see what next week has for us. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being here on this journey with me. Let me know what your relationship is like with your creativity and surrender. If you enjoy what you're seeing here, please, subscribe, like, share, tell a friend and tell a friend. Until next time, cheers to more love and more trust. Bye.